It is your boy T with another Have You Seen That with T movie review, and today we are reviewing Fast 10 or Fast X, whatever you want to call it, the 10th installment in the Fast and the Furious franchise. And boy, oh boy, how did we get here? We got here through some just insane gravity defying, physics defying stunts. But here we are, Fast 10. And of course, the story is always about family. It is Dom's superpower. For some reason, whenever he has his family, he defies gravity. He flies. He goes into space. He dives across bridges, saving Letty and all of his family, all without staining his white T-shirt. I don't understand what kind of bleach he uses or whatever the case may be, but that man's white tee stays whiter than. All right, I'll leave the, distasteful jokes for another podcast or another video. But here we are, Fast 10. Jason Momoa shows up in this movie as Mr. Reyes or whatever. Reyes, the guy from Fast 5. His son survives, the bridge incident in which they somehow, with two souped up Dodge Chargers, drove a 20-ton safe through the streets of Brazil, and the city of Brazil still stands. I mean, like they were driving this thing through buildings, everything that just would not happen in the real world. But once again, we're in the fast world. So Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa, who's actually a revelation in this part. I mean, he was phenomenal. He most certainly was the best part of this movie, was just his antics, his insanity. He kind of brought a Joker-esque vibe to the role, where he's just playing this mentally insane, son who survived death, and he is out for revenge on Dom and the family. But of course, you can't break up the family. You can't stop the family. And of course, nothing is more powerful than family. And I'm just completely butchering all of Dom's signature lines. But here we are. Jason Momoa, a new addition to the cast, and Brie Larson shows up in this movie. Alan Ritchson shows up in this movie, and that dude is huge. Like when he's standing next to everyone else in this movie, he looks like a giant. Um, and he shows up as the new head of the agency because Mr. Nobody went into the wind, I think, in Fast 8, The Fate of the Furious. But Brie Larson shows up in this movie as well, and she's very serviceable. But her role is pretty limited. This movie ends in a cliffhanger, so what I've read is they're billing this as was supposed to be a two-parter, but now they want to end it with a trilogy. And I guess I'm here for it. The movies have kind of led up to a point of it can't really get any bigger than any other, of the other movies. The last movie, they went into space. Dom had a long lost brother that showed up out of nowhere, played by John Cena, who also was in this movie as well. Starring again as Jacob Torretta, Dom's brother. This time on the good side of the team. This time part of the actual power of family. And the movie really centers around Jason Momoa trying to make Dom's life a living hell. And he does a pretty good job. I mean, the movie is very serviceable. I don't think it's better than the last two or three Fast movies. But again, it ends on a cliffhanger, so it really sets itself up. It's kind of like that first part, and the first part is never really the best part. It's always the second part of a trilogy that's supposed to really hype things up, unless it's The Matrix Reloaded. But Fast 10, definitely go check it out if you want to just turn your brain off for 2 hours and just watch Vin Diesel be Vin Diesel. He delivers his lines like a hammer banging in a nail. There's actually no finesse to it. It's just they just exist in a space and time. And then 2 seconds after he delivers the line, you completely forget about it unless he says something about the power of family, which he does say a lot in this movie. And for some reason, I don't know how much the Fast and the Furious or Corona is paying the Fast and the Furious, but boy, oh boy, they do love their Coronas. For some reason, every beer that they drink in these movies are Coronas. So shout out to Corona for sponsoring the Fast and the Furious movies, or at least putting some money towards it. I hope they put some money towards it because boy, they or if they're not, then they just getting free advertisement out the ass. But just a solid movie. It's gonna make a boatload of money. People are gonna get hyped for it. It does have one mid-credit scene, so after stay for the mid-credit scene. There is no scene at the very end of the movie. It has one surprise right before the credits start to roll. And this movie, it's the Fast and the Furious world. I mean, they defied all laws of everything in these movies: death, gravity, physics, and they just keep on doing it, and the family keeps growing because once again, there is literally nothing more powerful than family. And if one person has taught you that over the last 20 plus years, it's Dominic Toretto. And that's all I gotta say about that. This movie, I mean, this movie it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was a Fast and the Furious movie. It just sets up the next movie. And Jason Momoa, it will be in the next movie. No spoilers there. It ends on a cliffhanger. So everyone from this one should be coming back for the next one in order to continue this trip cliffhanger. But if you watch the movie, once again, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But definitely go check it out. It's gonna make a ton of money. And Fast, Fast Fast XX will be next. And for some reason, now that I know they're doing a trilogy, for some reason I think the last movie is gonna be titled Fast Triple X, and that's really gonna make me mad. But I'll be here for it anyway. I want to watch this series conclude. Nothing would surprise me if everyone died at the end of the last movie. That wouldn't surprise me if everyone lived and Dom wakes up because it was all a dream. Then that wouldn't surprise me either. But once again, gravity defying, physics defying. The man drove down the side of the Hoover Dam and and lived to tell the tale. It just doesn't get more ridiculous than that. But then again, that's what these fast movies have become: completely ridiculous, but a lot of fun. And that'll end this one. Catch you next time. And we got 2 years to pine over the mid credits, post credits, or just the mid credit scene and talk about who showed back up and why they showed back up and get ready for Fast 11. I'm excited. I'm excited for the next one. I am not excited for the 12th one, but I'm excited for the 11th one.